Alright, we got a new toy in the shop. This one got dropped off yesterday. I believe it's a Kawasaki 125. Year, I don't know, it looks like it's like mid-90s, early 90s. But yeah, we've got some issues. Buddy wants me to go through the engine on it and check stuff out, go through the tranny. When he did drop it off though, he tried to kick it over and the kicker gear, I think the kicker gear shot in it. Because I went to kick it and kick the ground and that kind of hurt. But yeah, okay, back to the curse. So the engine's still in there. I've been meaning to try to get the engine out. But I never took the oil filter out. So, we'll take the oil filter out here and we'll have a look what it looks like in there. It'll tell us a lot about what happened in this engine. But I'm still pretty sure that it ran really lean, because if you look close at that piston, it's got some charring on it and it's a little gray. And then really looking at the head does not look good. You can see on both sides there on the quench. So that would be here and over here. See this gray color? That's what aluminum looks like before it starts to disappear. Yeah, it's not looking good. But back to over here, so take that oil filter out of there. Tools, where are some tools? Here's some tools here. And bring the big guns. One screw, two screw, and an Allen. That's my phone. Probably my boss telling me what time I'm going to work today. Alright. Well, close inspection doesn't look too bad. That off right there. Pull this oil filter out of here. That looks okay. It's not all full of crap like the other one was. There's not really any metal in that. That's pretty good. Not bad. But, ooh. You can have a look down inside here. I think I need some paper towel or something here. That's a paper towel. Okay. So, let's have a look down inside there. Oh yeah, look at all that. Ooh. Oh, that is disgusting. Oh, this poor engine. Oh, that'll be why we're tearing it out. Okay. I'm going to take that engine out and throw it up on the counter. I'm not going to video it because I don't want to see people struggling. I don't want people to see me struggling getting that bolt out of there. And yeah, this will be real fun. Alrighty, back when the engine's on the counter. Alright, there she is in all of its glory. Yeah, it's pretty freaking dirty. Yeah, you know, people get scared when they look at these engines and, oh, I don't know if I can put it together or take it apart. Well, there's nothing to these things. Yeah, look at all that nastiness. Oh, this thing needs a bath so bad. See all that RTV? No, 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 no. Bad, bad. Do not use RTV on these. Please do not use RTV on any engine. Bike's looking a little naked. Yeah. Swing arm bolt came out like a dream, actually. Wasn't as hard as I thought. Yeah, she looks pretty funny with no engine in it. Yeah. I should show you this too. I got a new toy. My new camera. She's a Canon. It's better than using a friggin' cell phone. There we go. Next clip, we'll dive into her. Okay, so I kind of took a piece off the side here and was taking things apart and kind of looking at stuff. It doesn't look too bad in here. The one thing I don't like though is the oil pump. I'm not sure if you can see this in the oil pump, but if you look, you can see the lines and the grooves in it. So this thing needs an oil pump. I don't know, it's looking more and more like it may have been run out of oil maybe before Buddy got it. But yeah, it's not not the prettiest. But yeah, oil pump should be pretty cheap. I don't think these things would be too expensive. So that's where we are. So let's go kicker gear here. So we got crank, counter shaft, shift drum. Wait, what is this? No, that's an idler. This is the counter shaft right here. This one. So I'm not good at doing like continual videos here. So I usually just do little spurts and little bits and pieces here and there. But see how well this will work out this time. Right tool for the right job is what I've always learned. So I got a set of a decent set of snap ring pliers. Probably the best money I've spent in a long time. So they're called reversible, I think. So you see how it's open this way? You can take this little screw off of here, and if you screw it into the other little hole, because if you look closely, there's two different holes to screw it in, and now it squeezes in. So I want it this way, and this side here. Snap ring pliers makes a world of difference for the good set of snap ring pliers. Here. So I'll try to do some action shots here. I'm moving closer. I don't know how well it's going to work. Like I said, I usually just do little snippets here and there. I'm breaking my tripod already. And usually just do little snippets here and there. I'm going to be in the way. I know it. I'll try my best to stay out of the camera. So, idler gear. Oh yeah, look at that. Look how easy that was to take that off. Idler gear. So when I take stuff apart, I keep it all together. So there's the idler gear, there's a washer and a snap ring, and I'm going to place that here. Transmission. I'm curious to see what the transmission looks like inside here, because when I did do a ride on it, it didn't like going into fifth gear. It would make a funky grinding sound like it's not quite into gear yet. So we got to take crank nut off, and I got to take the counter shaft. I don't know if I got to take the little weight. That's different, eh? A little bit of a weight on there. Oh, well, there's not really. Where's the weight on the counter shaft? Interesting. Okay, I'm rambling. I'm gonna turn you off here for a minute. Take the retaining clips off. Oh, that is not good. Yeah, this retaining clip has been off a few times. That will need to be replaced. Yuck. Yuck. Add that to the parts list. Let's see if my little ugga gun can take me. That's way too big. Retaining clip, washer, counter shaft. Pieces together like I did with the other one. To the side. I almost need a box for all this stuff. I wonder. Oh, okay. So the weight come out. Oh, there it is, right there. Okay. So these are keyed, right? They only go on there one way. And if you look at it, you see it's got the weight on it. So when you put this on here, if you notice, there's actually a dot. Like there's a dot on that gear, so you can see it. There's a dot on that gear. And I believe that would line up. Where's the dot on here? Well, there's a flat spot. If you see the flat spot right here, so that dot is going to line up perfectly with that flat spot. So you see that little half weight here that's on the gear. The half weight's going to be in line with that weight there, and it'll balance like this. So every time the throw of the crank goes down and up, this little counterweight counter-reacts what that crank is doing, and it'll make the engine smoother. It'll run smoother. It won't vibrate. It won't, it won't shake the crap out of your hands. But yeah, okay, so that, as soon as we've got this off, I'm going to put the gear on the shaft. I'm going to put the retainer on there, and I'm just going to put the nut on it. Like so. So now when we go to put it all back together, it's all there. Excuse me. And what size is this one? Big Jesus one. Too big. I'll tell you what I need to do is invest in a good set of sockets. All my stuff is kind of everywhere. I don't know if my little Ugga Dugga gun will be able to take it off. It's not a very strong gun. It's only a little 3/8 gun, but it's got a charged battery. See if we can take it off here. And a 1 and a 2. Oh yeah, that wasn't very tight because I think that's got to be about 120 foot-pounds. But oh, I found more RTV. This is why you don't put RTV on an engine. So here's the retainer. So you bend the retainer. Now have a close look at that retainer. Right about here where my finger is. Let's see if I can make this thing focus. See that little red dot right there? I'm gonna take it off. See that little bit of red RTV? That is no good. Because when our RTV dries, it becomes a solid. And if you get that caught in any little oil passage, goodbye engine. It'll plug up an oil passage and you won't even know. You'll wipe out a bearing and you'll be none the wiser. Okay, so we got this is our water pump gear. The water pump gear looks like it's been replaced. That's okay. And then main crank gear. Yeah, so you can see the dot here. So if you look in the shaft, oh, here, let's see if I can wipe this off. If you look right here on the shaft, see that little dot right there? When you reassemble this in, that dot there has to line up with, what am I thinking here? Okay, I'm gonna have to take, oh, right. Is it that one? Oh, actually, no. Okay, it's this dot right here. See this little dot here on the tooth? So this dot lines up the crank. Let's see here. Yeah, there's a certain way that this goes on here. Not that you're going to see it, but one of the splines on here, I wish I could show you. One of the splines is different. So if you look very closely at this, it's not a perfectly concentric circle. So see where the dot is? That spline isn't cut as deep into the tooth. So if you turn it, you see how these splines here cut right to the ring. If you look, there's a definitive taper ring. And if you look at that spline where the dot is, it's not quite cut as deep, and they did the same thing on that. So that means it's all about timing with this. So your counter shaft has to swing exactly right. If you put it in there wrong and you get the engine running, oh, but Jesus, it's going to shake so bad it'll blow itself apart. So you got two different keys. So it's keyed to the crankshaft, and then it's keyed to the counter shaft with the counterbalance on it on the weight. And that little gear there, that little notch there, lines up with, you'll see a dot on this counter shaft. Right there, see that dot? So when you put it together, it needs to mesh perfectly like this. So there's two dots. So it's keyed to the crank, and then the crank through this gear is keyed to the counter shaft. Let me put this stuff aside all together like so. Put the counter shaft over here. And that is pretty much this side of the engine. Do we need to take... No. So I'm going to be kind of all over the board with these videos because I work a night shift, so I got to go to work here in an hour. So every little bit of a clip is going to be, you know, a day. But so boss is giving me about an hour. I got to be at work there in an hour. God, I gotta go eat some food, I think, too. Yeah, we should be good on this side. Well, yeah, we should be good on this side. So, we can get into this side here. So you got, I want to explain something too. We got two different sides to an engine. You have your PTO side, which is your power takeoff. So this is where your chain runs. So you have your mag side, which is for spark. Excuse me. You have your mag side, which is for sparking ignition, and you have your PTO side. So mag side is done, PTO side is next. Your stator runs in here and your flywheel runs on here, which I'm sure you've seen. And then if you look right here, this is your neutral safety switch. This is attached to your shift drum on the other side. And this bike was set up for street bike application, but yeah, you don't technically need this on a dirt bike. You don't need a neutral safety on the dirt bike. You can always just take this out and put a block off plate on it. And well, bearings are feeling pretty good in this engine. It's not too bad. Okay, this clip I'm gonna end here. I gotta get inside and eat some food. I'll bring it back tomorrow in the same spot. Back with another day. We'll work on this side of the engine there today. I'm not gonna say very much. I'm just gonna dive right into that, right? We'll take this off here. We can get this guy off of here. Probably not. An impact driver. Impact driver. Pretty easy. It's got a thing inside. I don't know what you call it, like a taper or whatever. When you hit it, it turns, and you can take it. You can make it turn the other way. So then you hit it, and it goes the other way. Pretty easy. So go this way. Put her in the screw hole. And give her a whack. And just like that. Yamaha loves their Phillips. Yamaha has always loved Phillips head screwdrivers. Phillips head screws, which makes it a pain in the butt for the rest of the world working on this stuff. Because we all usually strip out the Phillips. Tell you what though, if you try using a screwdriver, you are definitely going to strip that out. And like that, she comes out. And the reason you got to do with an impact driver is if you look closely at the screw, there's a little bit of blue on there. It's a little bit of Loctite, a little bit of medium strength Loctite. You really don't want these falling out when you're riding. One and two. And this should just pop right off of here. Yeah, funny. Should just pop right off of there. Who was I kidding? Maybe it won't just come popping right off of there. Oh boy. Whoops. Yeah, that's not gonna come off there. I'm gonna have to glue that back on. That's the way it should go sometimes. Sometimes that kind of stuff happens. Okay. Here. I like to stay organized, so I got a bag. I've actually got a bin here. Look at my bin. The bucket is pretty crude, but everything is bagged and tagged. So when you go to put it back together, I mean, it could be a while till I get parts. So I got like, everything is clutch side case bolts. Everything's bagged and tagged. What is that yellow stuff in there? Huh? So things come apart, bags come out. So I'm going to work on taking out all the case bolts. I don't think you need to see that. There's just a perimeter of bolts. And it looks like this bike is a hardware kit because they're cap screws. So that's what I'll be working on. I'll bring it back when I get all the bolts out. Okay, they're all loose. Pull them all out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, Oh, I missed one. Oh, 8. And 10 mil for that. That's always a fun part, trying to separate these case halves without damaging things. Can be done. Okay, so that's out, that's out. So we've got our left side engine case hardware. I'm going to put it, bag it and tag it. And my Sharpie went where? Here. Left side case bolts. Left side, or you can't even see it. Left side case bolts in the bin. Oh, geez, I missed another one. One more, right up top here. You are excused. Thank you very much. In the bag with the rest of it. Okay. Oh, God, I missed another one. These are terrible. Okay, in the bag. So let's see if there's anything. I've also seen, there's usually a couple on this side too that help hold the case together. I'm not seeing any though. Let's take this out. My clutch actuator arm. Magneto, where are you? Where are you, my magnet? Where are you? Right here, right in front of my eyeballs. Ooh, fancy. Into the bin. Obviously, I can't, tag and bag that. Closer over here. Can't really see much. Bring it over here. So then we're gonna take off. What are we doing here? Well, let's see if we can separate it. So need me a rubber hammer. Oh, maybe not. You just. Oh, it's working. I don't really want to break anything here. Oh, she's coming apart. She is coming apart. You know what they say, right? I need a punch. Right tool for the right job, right? Holy man, this is coming apart a lot easier than I expected. Yeehaw! Here she comes. Everything's looking good. Nothing's binding. So this is where people go wrong and they try to just force it apart and then you start breaking things. So I'm going to try to tap on the oil nut. Oh yeah, look at that baby. Yeah, I see a gap. I see a gap. Gentle, gentle. Easy does it. Nice and easy. Gotta get it off of those dowels. Nice and easy. So the last thing that you want to do is you don't want to be sticking. You see you got a nice bit of daylight right through there with a nice little crack. The last thing you want to do is to take something like this monstrosity here, and jam it in there and beat it apart because you're gonna mar up the case. And ooh, look at that. So it doesn't take much to get these apart. It's okay doing it this way, but if you were to take this and like take a hammer and try to like hammer that in there, that's bad. Bad things are gonna happen. Your case will not seal when I put it back together. It will leak like you will not believe. Okay, so it's the easiest way to. Which way should we take off? Oh, there we go. I gotta pull it apart. I'm gonna go get my rubber hammer. So just a little rubber hammer, just a tiny little one, right? Just something small. Now, let me just address something here. If you are going to reuse that crankshaft, do not hit on the crank. Absolutely a must. You must not hit on that crankshaft. Ever. This is all getting replaced. The crank is shot. But do not hit on that if you're going to replace that. You will throw the crank out of balance. Ooh, she's coming apart nicely. Oh, I can get her at that point now, or we could... So what way is this going to come off where there ain't going to be pieces flying everywhere? Oh, there we go. There we go. No more daylight. I see a transmission. I see a transmission. Oh, yeah. Oh, like butter. Just like that. Oh my! Oh, look at all that garbage in the bottom there. Ooh. Alright, that I gotta. Just checking to make sure I got it recording. Okay, let's see here. Alright. Oh. Okay, now check this out. So the oil screen is right here on the bottom of the engine. Look at all that. Look at all that. Ooh, that's all crusty too. Ooh, I don't think that helped the scoring of that oil pump. Not at all. Bearings. Ooh, crank bearings are feeling pretty nasty. I don't know if you can hear. Can you hear that? It's not good. Wasn't long for this poor little engine. Oh, I'm glad we turned it down though. Okay, so there's that side. No, the crank is not bad. But, yeah. Now, let's have a look-see here. Why was this thing... So this is where it pays to have a cell phone, because I'm going to take a picture of all this stuff. Before I even take anything out, I like pictures. Lots and lots of pictures. Especially when you have a whole bin of parts and you're trying to put it back together and you just don't know where the heck anything goes. Hey, wipe the crap off my gloves. Take me some picture. Multiple angles help too. Come on. Click. Another one from this side here. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to take a break, go inside for a bit. I'll be right back. I feel about 10 pounds lighter. Let's see if we can get this crank out of here all the way. Well, remember what I said, do not hit on the crank if you plan to replace it. If you don't plan on replacing it. Ooh, bearings doesn't sound good. That is not a good sound. There's no play though. Maybe we can get the crank trued and not get too deep into repairs for the little dude. might actually not be a bad way to go. Even though the blue is not the greatest, but I'm sure we can bring this thing back to life. So I was showing you that you don't want to hit on the crank when you're taking it apart. Now, do you see that daylight through there? So the way the crankshaft is, right, it goes like this, and then through the rod, and then out, right? So if you're beating on this, what you're going to do is you're going to end up pinching this together, and it's going to throw the crank out of balance. Because remember, this is not a solidly welded piece. These pieces are pressed together on a press. So if you're beating on it and twisting and banging and hammering, you can actually take this and it'll be turned a little bit, and that's going to throw your crank out of balance too. So there's machine tolerances too, right? So you want to check the run out on it. So you want to balance how far is this out from this side here, because those are where the bearings ride. So you see, if you're beating on it, you can throw it way, way out of balance, and that's no good because it won't last very long. Yeah, not the worst one I've ever seen. Yeah, this is what I don't like. So somebody's been in that engine a lot more than me. See the threads? So this is your mag side. You put the nut that holds on the flywheel goes on here, and there is like no threads left on that. So I don't know if we can get the machine shop to cut new threads on that and put a new nut on that, or if we should just replace it. I think you should just replace it. It's my opinion. New crank, new piston, new cylinder. This thing will be like brand new. She'll rip pretty hard. When I'm done with it. Okay, so what I like to do is I'll take some tape and I'll tape this all up, the transmission up, because the transmission's got multiple gears, multiple pieces, and it's not ideal. So you can go along here, you can take all the gears off, take the snap rings off, and take them out one by one. But you want to take it out and put it back in the same way, and some of these transmissions are very complicated and very confusing. So I take a bit of tape, I wrap it up, and I take it all out as one unit, and I'll set it aside and leave it like that until the install. But yeah. Okay, now it's time to get the shift fork and the shift drum and all that out of here. So I took the two nuts, the two bolts that hold that on here. This is your actuator, and you need this little guy right here. And then this all just slides right off of here. Now you're going to have some detents and some springs. It's all kind of part of it. And of course I dropped it. This is why I like to bag and tag things, because there's just so many little bits and pieces of everything. And to put the hours in to put a rebuild into it and then get it running again, and then, oh, it won't go into gear because, oh god, look, I forgot a detent arm. Then you gotta take it out, take it all apart, look at it again. Don't ask me how I know that. And probably the hardest one to get out is down here, and that should be a 12 now. So I know I'm not greatest at these live action camera shots, so it'd be good to get some info, right? Okay. Ah! Ooh, that was not a good sound. Okay, so there's the bolt that holds the drum actuator arm on, and that should come right off of there. We gotta get the detent arm off first, I think. Okay, hold that back and I can pull this off of here. There we go. Alright, and this all goes in the bag. And then this little guy right here, this little spring dude out here, this is what keeps your bike in gear. This little arm and this little wheel. You look at this arm right here. Look at this guy right here. See, it's got the slopes and the angles. Well, when you get it into gear, this little wheel will lock onto that and it'll hold it into gear. So I wonder if this is the issue. If this was the problem. Well, it's got some good wear on it. Maybe that's why I wasn't going into fifth gear. And you can always tell by how many gears your bike has got by how many mountains you have on this. So you got to think about it. First gear is always down on the Yamaha first, and then second is up. So let's just go with it here. See this one here is different. This would be your neutral. So we go first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. So this bike has 6 forward gears, which is crazy. I thought it only had 4 or 5. Huh. Okay. Well, learn something new every day, I guess. Okay, and then 10 millimeter. Up in the washer and the spring. All this is going to go back into that bag. Oh, there's some Loctite on that. That's been apart before. Boom, ba-da-dum, ba-da-da-dum, bum. Okay, so that's all off. So we should be able to tap everything out of here now. So it should all come out in one giant piece. See if I can't make a big mess. Oh boy, okay, so what is going on here? What's holding it up? That is not. That is not. That's holding the bearing. Cross flow oil pipe. No, there's nothing on here, so it's the shift drum. Shift drum is getting caught here. So I need, once again, the right tool for the right job. I don't know what that was, but it's going across the floor. Oh. Uh-oh. There we go. Alright. Okay, so stuff's starting to come out here. There's your shift drum. That doesn't look too bad. Do 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 do. Okay, I scrapped my tape idea because I really want to have a good look at these gears and these shift forks. I know they're not bent. That's a good thing. It's a good sign. So here's another picture. I'm going to take another picture of this before I pull it out so I know what shift fork goes where. Like so. And pull it out. So I'm just going to take this out, put it on the counter. I don't want to be people watching me do that. No. Okay. Transmission is out, and I found something interesting. It wouldn't cause it to not go into gear, but what it would create is a lot of noise. So I want you to look on this tooth right here where my finger is. Look at all that pitting. You see all that pitting that's on that tooth? See if we can get a little closer. Ooh, right there. Like, see all that pitting? Let me get a pointing device here. So there we go. Closer here. Focus. Come on, autofocus. There it is. So you see that right there? That's some pretty nasty looking pitting. And that's the only gear, but it goes almost clear around this gear. So that it shouldn't prevent it from going into gear. It really shouldn't. But it would make it, oh my god, noisy. There we go. So that's could be part of the reason why it doesn't want to go into gear. There's bits of gear. No, oh yeah, that gear needs to be replaced for sure. Okay, and bearings. See what bearings sound like. That one's okay. I'm interested in what the oil pickup looks like. So that is this guy right here. Oil pickup is right here. This is the oil pickup right here. There's a screen on it, just like in any other vehicle. There's any car, truck, whatever. Screen. Let's have a boo. And dun-dun-dun-dun. So what did I say about RTV? Have a look at this oil pickup screen. You see all that red on there? That is red, high temperature RTV silicone. Do not use RTV when you build one of these. What you need to use is an anaerobic sealer. Dries in the absence of air. That way anything that gets squished out on the inside, it'll mix with your oil and it'll run through. This stuff here will wipe out bearings. No good. No, 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 no. Oh yeah, it's pretty nasty in here. Yuck, yuck, yuck. Okay, so now all it is cleaning and ordering parts. I guess I'll come back and we'll call this end of part 1. Call this the teardown video, end of part 1. I'm gonna pull a bearing out and just have a listen. Maybe clean the bearing up and see how noisy the crank bearing is. I'm curious about the crank bearing on the side of the crank that had all the bluing on it. So that would be on the PTO side. So on this side of the case, I'm gonna pull this bearing out. I'm gonna clean it up and just have a listen. Now I'm really curious as to how this sounds. Bearing. Dun, 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 dun. So this is the PTO side. Is it the PTO side? Yes, this is the PTO. I had to think about it. This is the PTO side crank bearing. Now, everywhere you look, there's red RTV. Have a look. You see it? I see red RTV even in this freaking bearing. There's some right there. RTV, no, no. Now, have a listen to this. That is pretty gnarly. And you'll never be able to see, but on the inner race, oh, maybe you can right there. Oh, maybe you can't. On the inner race, so the race on the inside here, where the balls roll, there is blue. This bearing got insanely hot. It'd be hard to see. Maybe it was on this side. I know my lighting is kind of terrible. Like I said, I'm not good at these action shots, but yeah, there is a little bit of pitting from what I can see too on that inner race. Oh yeah, there's a pile of pitting. There's a pit right there. I'm looking in this hole right here. Oh, there's some more pitting. There's a blemish. Maybe one of these days I'll have a good enough camera so I could actually show this. But then you look in here of the bearing. If you look in there, you can see all the chatter marks where the crank was bouncing around. See all that? That's from the crank not being perfectly balanced and it chattering inside the bearing. And it's got a little bit of a wiggle, but you should have a little bit of clearance there for oil. It is a good bearing. It is a coil bearing. So it shouldn't be too difficult to get some bearings. But yeah, that's no good. The noise that makes. Ugh. Ugh. Then there's this too. This is the saddle where the bearing sits. See how black that is in there? Right down here. See how black? This thing was baking the oil that was in there. Black. Oof. The bearing is tight in the case still, so the case is still in fairly good shape. I'm thinking if that bearing is shot, I can guarantee you the rest of these bearings are going to be shot, because whatever went through that, oh, that one's pretty tight there too. Whatever went through that main bearing went through everything else. So I didn't show this on the other main bearing, but if you look right here, you see where this retainer is? You see the little divot that they drilled in there? When you torque these down, they want you to stake that into place. They want you to take a round punch and hammer it and deform the face of the screw, deform the face of the bolt so it cannot move. We call that staking into place. I thought I'd show that to you. It's actually pretty cool in this engine. It's all over the place. I think we have a winner. This is the bearing from the other side. So this one's a little more, little rougher of shape. Have a listen to this baby. Oh, and I can feel it. Oh, that's so bad. And this one you can actually hear. That inner race shouldn't move like that. One more. Oh, it's smartened up. But I was actually looking at this one here. The outer race is pitted, unbelievably pitted all the way around. Oh yeah, this is. I'd love to be able to knock maybe one of these bearings. We can cut some of these pins out and pull the ball bearings out, and then we can actually have like maybe that's what I'll do. So this is the first. We'll call this the tear down video. It's all done. It's all torn down. It's all in pieces, right? It's all over the counter. She's all in pieces. There's the crank. There's everything. Bike's over here looking as naked as ever. And then you got the bin. I got a bin full of goodies. Or bucket full of goodies. And now it's all up to young Dayton and see what he wants to do, how much he wants to spend. He told me to give him a parts list, but how about re-engine? Yeah, no, this won't be too bad. This won't cost him too much, but yeah, good God, I gotta do this again, man. Oh, God, does it ever sound bad? Ugh. Okay, one more time. I found a better way to spin it. Holy man, that is insane. That's got to be the worst one I've ever heard. Okay, we're gonna call this. Oh, I gotta stop. Okay, we're gonna call this end of part 1. Rebuild to come.